we study China a lot. John and I both do. And the key why we find China so interesting is because they don't have a lot of private equity. Small groups starting together start to work incredibly together. So they build up a DNA of working with each other. So no one company,
even though they're competition,
see, no one company has enough equity to be able to build the entire company. So they kind of build.
But the industry grows, though. That's what you were saying. The pie gets bigger because everyone's.
Yeah, but I'm saying the reason why it works there is because they start out that way, and once they build up those practices to get off the ground, then it keeps going. So the DNA of the birth of corporations starts from around collaboration, competition, and building the practices so both people profit from each other, which is not the way we do collaboration in this country, by the way. All you got to do is go there half a dozen times, like 1 month apart, and you just look, you can see the acceleration curve, even over that short period of time. It is astounding what they do, and they understand.
Yeah, but all fundamentally still, everything they do, they still copy the West.
That's bullshit, total bullshit.
You don't believe that?
I know it's not true. Okay, I know their nano centers. I know their technologies. Okay, they are doing things, that are, you might call more mundane, because they're saying, I want to build nanotechnology for a purpose. I want to build clean energy, beginning and end of story. So they're very applied in that sense. Okay? And like we, energized this country going to the moon. Okay, so all of us, I grew up during that period.
Right.
We wanted to be astronauts, we wanted to go to ultra high technology, Okay? Today, the sense of nationalism in China not going to is now, let's figure out, can we use things like nanotechnology, nanoscience to radicalize how we do energy, clean energy. That's not just half a dozen small little companies in Silicon Valley. That becomes, amongst the graduates, which by the way are thousands, kind of a national goal that they buy into. The kids.
No, look, I come from Eastern Europe originally, and the Russians had a similar ability to mobilize incredible amount of resources from cross-discipline to achieve certain results. But the problem with the Russians those are always a small scale, the space station, the nuclear rocket. What is amazing about the Chinese, how they're able to productize
all this,
innovation, which is a very American kind of special know-how, which the Russians never were able to do.
Never did, right.
Never.
But that's because they use state-owned enterprises, huge things. China uses these vast creation networks that are loosely coupled and are capable of moving on a dime and collectively accelerating learning because of the productive friction in the system. So the types of institutional innovation going on there, we see as key for us to understand. We still have the ability to take huge risks as individuals, which they don't have as good. So they have something like for them, we have something like for us. But we don't have the institutional innovations that they have that provide an amazing agility, acceleration of talent development, and the ability to constantly kind of bring in new ideas with lightning speed because they don't have fixed organizations. Again, I'm not talking about state-owned enterprises. I'm not talking about the national, the multinational companies. I'm talking about these networks on Eastern China that sit behind the ODMs that are actually building an awful lot of our electronics in this country. If you think Sony does what they think they do, let me tell you, most of these products are really coming from these design networks across China and Taiwan.
So do you see the future as competitive with China or collaborating?
I think there's no reason why it can't be collaborating, but we're stuck in certain mindsets. And by the way, they're stuck in certain mindsets too, because to us they have three Chinas. You have you have these creation networks, you have the state-owned enterprises, and then you have the kind of multinational enterprises. And those three have completely different dynamics. So the question may be, how do the creation networks, how do they start to push out the state-owned enterprises or the equivalent of those state-owned enterprises as they move to big industry. So there's going to be a lot of internal tension in their system.
Oh yeah, of course.
So, but Russia never had that kind of opposition going on. Structural opposition.